Hello and welcome back to the Meraki Unboxed podcast. My name is Sammy Brenner and I'll be taking you through our episode today, which will be interesting. This is a new one and a unique one for us on the podcast. Before we get into it and I introduce our guest, download, subscribe, tell all your friends how amazing this podcast is. We definitely want new subscribers. We want returning subscribers. And if you have amazing ideas and you want to collaborate with us, please reach out and let us know. We'd love to work with you. Okay, so today on the podcast, I've got 3 guests with me, and they all are sitting in Belgium right now, actually, so across the pond. And this is a Meraki partner called NTT. And they're going to join us and talk about their experience winning the 2022 hackathon event. And they're going to talk about the project they built and what the process was and their creative ideas around it. So without further ado, let me introduce Simon, Jean-Philippe, and Pascal to the Meraki Unboxed podcast. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Very well, thanks.
We're fine. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome. Simon, I'm going to start with you and kick this thing off. I mean, how did you hear about the 2022 hackathon? Why were you interested? What kind of inspired you to the 3 of you to participate?
Yeah, so we have previously worked on a sustainability project for a client, also in collaboration with Cisco. And this was just the continuity of that project, I might say. So that's why we got into that hackathon.
Got it. And how did you hear about this event in general?
So for myself, I just arrived to work, and then my colleagues were like, "We are doing a hackathon, so I can't tell you more about that." Yeah.
Got it.
We are just told, okay, guys, we have a hackathon for you. Are you in for that? And we just participated.
Easy enough, right? You showed up and they put you to work. I like it. Okay, so maybe Pascal and Jean-Philippe, you can tell me a little bit about the solution that you built. So, what was the solution? What was the problem you were attempting to solve?
Yes, Pascal speaking. First, the idea came up with from our IoT manager. The IoT manager at NTT Belgium is connected with many people from private and public sector, and he always had a lot of projects in the pipeline, and he told us about an issue that the recycling parks have. And the problem was that in recycling parks, you have containers, and so specific containers for iron, containers for green waste, and so on. And sometimes they are full, and so the customers cannot use it, and that since the recycling is a personal it's a personal decision. You decide to go to the recycling park, so your experience must be a good experience. And so the managers of the recycling parks wanted to improve the user experience, and they decided to use cameras to monitor the containers and the filling rate of the containers. And that way where we came, and we proposed a solution with the Meraki cameras to monitor the containers, to evaluate automatically the filling rate of the containers, so that from a dashboard you can see interactively the level, and you can monitor, you can optimize the replacement of the containers.
Got it. Okay, great. So, that sounds like a straightforward use case, identifying recycling bins that need to be refilled, but the technology involved is actually pretty advanced. So, Jean-Philippe, maybe you can talk a little bit about this. What were the key technologies that made the process possible, and how did Meraki products play a role in that?
So, as Pascal said, the key objective of the project was to automatically monitor the filling rates of containers, to send a notification to truck drivers so that they can come replace them in time just before they are completely full. So this task actually, to solve this task, we need to solve several underlying problems, where the main one is the monitoring of the filling rates. And for this problem, we inspired us on how humans do this. So a human can really easily tell that a container is full just by looking at it. And so we decided to create an AI model which would work in the same way. So in our solution, the Meraki camera works at the eyes of the system. And so we use the snapshot API to get an image using the camera and feed it to the AI model, which will give you an estimation of the filling rate. So the big advantage of using this type of computer vision model using a camera is that we have more flexibility in where we can put the sensor. So we are not, with other technology, you need to put it right over the container. Where the camera, you can put it a bit everywhere. The only condition is that it sees the bottom of the container, and you can, with a single camera, you can also monitor several containers. So this is a big advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for, explaining that in a little bit further detail. I mean, Simon, let me ask you, what did you think of the Meraki cameras, and had you worked with other cameras previously? I guess what features on the Meraki MV cameras were crucial to your success in this project?
Yeah, so I never worked personally with other intelligent cameras, but I had really a good experience with the Meraki ones. As Jean-Philippe said, also the fact to choose the camera Meraki or not over other sensors is it helps because, for example, if you choose an ultrasound sensor, you can calculate the distance between the trash and the top of the container. But let's say that someone's just put a trash in the way of the sensor, so you have a wrong measurement, and using camera is just eliminating this problem. Regarding the API, the features, of the Meraki product. So I mainly use the snapshot API to provide the image that Pascal and Jean-Philippe will feed to the model. And it worked great, but I also used other features, such as real-time streaming for other projects. So yeah, globally we had a good experience with the product.
Amazing. I mean, it sounds like the three of you work very well together. So tell me, at NTT, are the three of you on the same team? Do you collaborate? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we are in the same department, New Ventures and Innovation. And this project actually was made with the CIC, so this is the Client Innovation Center we have in Belgium, when we showcase all the cool stuff to our clients. And yeah, so we are in the same team with Jean-Philippe and Pascal, and we are working sometimes on common projects. I think Jean-Philippe and Pascal are working closely together because they are two data scientists, so they have a close collaborations on a few projects. And sometimes when they need a guy who knows Meraki APIs and more, I have a more like a full stack background, so they they call me and we all work together.
Yes, we work like this. First, we have meetings and we think a lot about the solution because sometimes solutions are not that obvious, and then we find easily a way to divide up the work. Usually Jean-Philippe work mainly on the AI part, Simon on very technical issue as a full stack on every part, but mainly on API, cameras and sensors, IoT, and so on. And for myself, I work mainly on the architecture, so the data architecture, the pipeline processings, and so on.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
Sorry.
You were saying,
sorry. Here at the CIC, we mostly work on. At the CIC, we work on a lot of different projects. We do a lot of co-innovation with our clients and also some R&D.
Yeah, and usually, there are someone from the sales or the pre-sales that comes and is like, oh yeah, you three, can you work on that stuff? And we're like, okay, yeah, let's go, let's do it. So yeah, that's
Very
a
cool.
very, very nice way to work. Very cool, yeah.
So let me ask, have you had any tough moments together? And if so, how do you get through those when you're working on a project, things get stressful or you disagree? Did that happen at all?
Mostly at the end, because the project took longer than expected and we ran out of time at the end. And we didn't always agree on what was important to finish. For Jean-Philippe, it was really important to have a very nice AR part. For me, it was a global solution. For Simon, it was something else about the API, the camera, and so on. And sometimes it was a bit tough, but not to be too stressed. What we did, it's every 2 hours we made a list of what was left to do.
Yeah, and we prioritized the best.
Yes, we prioritized. And after 2 hours, okay, just forget the previous list. We make a new list.
Got it. Yeah, that's a good way to stay on track and stay organized and try to stay calm in high stress situations. Mm-hmm. So was there like a tight time deadline at the end of this project? How long did you have to work on it?
Yeah, so I think we worked for 8 hours on it, and we were really late because it was the last day of that we could apply to the hackathon.
No,
so yeah,
yeah, go on,
Pascal.
Actually, we because for this hackathon we need to install a camera on a recycling park, and then we need to get images and so on. That was very time consuming, and after that it left maybe 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
For the software development and for preparing the video and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so at the end, last day, I remember the last day very well.
Yeah, at the end we were like, okay, we have like 10 minutes to finish the video presentation of the project, and that's why in the first, I think the maximum length of the video is like 3 minutes, and at first we are taking our time in the video, and after some point you see that we are stressing a bit because we have like 10 minutes to finish the project, close the application, and yeah, so we had a little bit of stress at the end.
It was yes, it was stressful, but very good memories, very good moment,
yeah.
And we were very happy to work together like this.
Right. Yes, a huge accomplishment indeed. Stressful, but in the end, it sounds like the finished product was absolutely amazing. So, Jean-Philippe, let me ask, what are your hopes, or what, were your hopes for your winning solution? Is NTT going to replicate this or build this for other customers? What's next?
So for the next part, so we have already continued to work a bit on the solution. So for the moment, we would like to integrate the automatic monitoring of the traffic sign inside of the Meraki cameras using the custom CV feature. So we have actually built a demo that we are running and showcasing to clients in the Client Innovation Center. And from the feedback we had from several clients and the interest of them and their interest, we are considering commercializing it.
Amazing. That would be so cool. So, I guess that leads into my next question. Is there other work that NTT is doing around sustainability? Are you hearing customers kind of ask for this? I guess, how does this project that you just, the three of you just completed, how does it tie into that sustainability story for NTT?
Yeah, so you know that for at a group level, we are also doing a lot of things for the sustainability. We have a global objective actually for 2030, I think, to attain a zero carbon objective. So that's what we are already doing at a group level. But in Belgium, we also have a few sustainability projects, mainly with smart buildings and to reduce cost, energy consumption costs. So like, for example, with water, gas, electricity, and so on. And so this project actually integrates in that last part with the energy consumption management.
Very cool. That's good to hear that that's top of mind, and you have sustainability, you're thinking about that, and you have objectives around that. Can you give tips maybe for those who are listening to this podcast today, other resellers or Meraki partners who might be interested in joining the hackathon next year? What are your takeaways around this project?
First, I would give two pieces of advice. More generally for hackathon, there are many ways to present the project, and I believe that for an hackathon it's important to be guided by the expected criteria in the final presentation, because often the criteria are read at the beginning, and then we go in the project, but it's important to have always the expected criteria in mind. For the Meraki camera, I would say that we must find the advice is to leverage all the maximum possibility of the camera. It's not just images, but there are some AI embedded in the camera, for instance, for counting people in a square, in a grid designed by the camera, and other features. And my advice is really to try to use all the feature provided by the camera. And a last advice, I don't know if it's a good advice, but I think that a small team, no more than 4 people, allows to work efficiently. Everyone feels involved, and it's possible to divide the work properly. Of course, a bigger team is possible, but since the time is very limited in hackathon in general, I think that a small team is very efficient to have everyone really involved in the project.
Great advice. Simon, Jean-Philippe, anything you'd add to the advice that Pascal gave for contestants next year?
Yeah, so I completely agree with Pascal, and I would add also to maybe take a little time to prepare the stuff before you arrive at the deadline, so you don't stress out at the last moment like we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely prepare the presentation in advance, not leave it for the last moment. And during the hackathon, even in the end, to stay cool, not to be too stressed about it, because if you're too stressed, you won't do any good work. So it's just a competition.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. That's right. It's just a competition. You're here to have a good time and build something cool along the way. Well, speaking of just a competition, I have to ask, you're the winner of the 2022 hackathon. The audience, I'm sure, is dying to find out, what was the prize? What did the three of you win? Is it just bragging rights? Is it something else?
Yeah, so we are supposed to receive a Cisco swag kit, I think. Yeah, it didn't arrive yet, but we are eagerly waiting for it.
I love it. There's nothing better than a Cisco swag kit. We
Yeah.
have great merch.
Great.
Fabulous. Well, that was a very informative episode. I didn't know much about the Cisco Meraki Hackathon, so that's one of the beauties to being on this podcast and getting to host it, is you find out all these cool things that Cisco Meraki does. It was a pleasure meeting the three of you. Thank you so much for coming on, for sharing your story, for talking about some really cool technology that you built. And come back. Join us soon. Maybe you'll be our 2023 winners. You never know.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Beautiful. Well, my name is Sammy Brenner, again, signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Meraki Unboxed podcast. We will be back in 2 weeks with new content. Take care and have a wonderful day.